And I'm not even familiar with Post Malone, but I can just tell by looking at him, I was like, this is definitely a stunt. This is a desperate cry for attention.
Are you sure, Patrick?
Notice me!
That's a good way to put it. It's a cry for attention.
Yeah, it
right?
really is. Like, look at you, dude.
Is that a candy necklace?
Yeah, man.
But we ain't gonna look at you too long if you ain't got a double toasted shirt on that body of yours, especially when you have the great Cosmic Danielle, which is our limited time only shirt for our featured artist of the month, Remus and Kiki Animation. DTmerch.com, which is where you find the Cosmic Danielle shirt. You'll find our mainstays over there. My favorite, the black cotton tee with the white logo. You got the colored tee right there. Jerseys, backpacks, caps. Oh, appropriation done appropriated. It's taking something that people thought was safe. Mm-hmm. People out there, you black, all right, people might not like it, but you can call that appropriation. And then even the brown people like, hey, man, let me get some of that too. No, I'm in it too. And now finally somebody said, hold. Go ahead, black man. Brown, let me see your credentials right here.
Shit.
Yeah. Give me your name. I'm going to get you on Family Tree real quick. I had this email today from Ron Mexico asking us what we thought about this thing going on with Bruno Mars.
Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
Wait a minute, he's not black?
Wait, did people not know that?
No, people would dance. I'm like, shit, what? Not one drop?
People thought it was a drop in there somewhere.
Oh.
They're so ambiguous, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he was, I don't remember him ever hiding that.
But Martin, not that he was hiding it, people thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's really at fault for that. No. He's not like been lying about his ethnicity.
Yeah. People thought, damn, he brought back some good R&B. I thought he was bringing the Jerry curl back. I thought there was some black in there somewhere. No. And I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. And here's the thing with Bruno Mars. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe I'm not the big, I love Bruno Mars, but maybe I'm not a super fan where I haven't seen every bit of video and read everything about him that's out there. Because the thing with cultural appropriation for me, and we're going to get into the definition a little bit, we're going to have some more discussion about it, but for me, it doesn't really come down to all the time your shade of brown or black. Mm-hmm. It comes down to, are you real? Are you authentic? And with Bruno Mars, I never got a fake feeling from him. I'm looking at this interview with him on Charlie Rose before Charlie Rose appropriated sexual misconduct. And on there, you listen to how he talks. He's not faking the way he speaks. He doesn't have this street cadence to him. He's not putting on a false personality. He's Bruno Mars.
Anytime anyone writes a song, they're competing with billions of other great songs. Yeah.
So I take it.
So it's that constant battle of how am I going to sing something that no one's ever heard before, or hopefully make people feel something they've never felt before.
I never asked what Bruno Mars is. In fact, today I was like, yeah, what the fuck is Bruno Mars?
I wasn't concerned. I was like, let this man do cocaine and make great music. I don't care.
What did he come from the lab of Vin Diesel?
Well, I just remember when he first came out with that name Bruno Mars. I was like, okay, what's his real name? And then to see it, I'm like, okay, so he's Latin.
Yeah, yeah. I've never look when I'm watching Bruno Mars. I've never looked at Bruno Mars and what he's doing. I've never looked at Bruno Mars. He's like, hey, fellas, hey. And then they say, cut. How was that, mate? Was that funky?
It was a jolly good time.
Oh, it was a go. Thank you very much. Toodaloo. Pull out an umbrella and he's gone.
I told you he could fly.
There he goes. Back to appropriation land. Bye, Bruno.
Did you just appropriate Mary Poppins? Motherfucker.
I've never seen it. And as we said, this guy, he's doing a better job than most people out there.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
With what he brought back, let me talk about the state of music. Mm-hmm. You could be a Klan member. If you're doing some good music today, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a chance. Okay, I don't mean that.
I listen once on YouTube.
A guy who loves R&B and funk the way he does is authentic.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, no, I mean, again, when he first popped up, it was when I first saw him was on that the B.O.B. song, Nothing on You, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's got a pretty good voice and everything, and then he came out with his own solo stuff, and I was like, all right, I like what he's doing, and to see the way his career is taking off like this, it's really good to see because but he was talking about being homeless and going through all these struggles in like Hawaii, being mixed race and things like that, and I was like, all right, I'm glad that this dude is succeeding, but yeah, I've never had an issue with him doing this kind of music, doing funk and soul and R&B stuff because one, he's good at it. Two, he's writing for black artists sometimes, and then three, he's crushing it, and he's not, like you said, not putting on a fake air about it.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys, lately that I'll listen to. I'm like, yeah, this kid's got it. Everything he comes out with. But I think back to Lenny Kravitz, how his whole shtick was doing classic rock to the point of aping it perfectly. And at the time, I was like, man, he's just doing imitations, all that shit, I grew up with. But I was after a while, I'm like, but he's really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys doing it, but he's the best, and he can only be doing this if he had a true love
Well,
of it.
that's the thing. I wouldn't call that appropriation. I would call that, maybe stealing, but not from a culture, because usually, we'll get into the definition a little bit of why people don't consider that appropriation. Now, I don't know if you're a Bruno Mars fan, but how do you feel about this?
I mean, I do like Bruno Mars. I'm not like super familiar with a lot of his music, but anytime I hear a track of his, more often than not, I really like it. I mean, from what I can tell, he's a genuine dude who's incredibly talented. So I personally I can't say I've ever had an issue with him doing like a variety of genres.
Yeah, and he got an ass on him too.
Yeah,
appropriated that. But
I don't think anybody has ever been at a club and be like, man, turn this Bruno Mars shit off.
Right.
Play this again.
Out loud.
now the second Bruno Mars starts doing bare naked ladies, we got a fucking problem.
And again, I don't want to just hear me out before you. This sounds like we're trying to put the blame, on the white people again. No. But understand that Brown is still the struggle, man. My man Bruno Mars got a couple of a little bit of oppression up in him. He is Filipino, Jewish, and Puerto Rican. Man, if a Puerto Rican can't have it,
I want to know how that happened.
yeah. What did the third party come in?
Surprise.
While his parents were having sex, did somebody come in with something like a vial of Jewish semen and spill it on everybody?
Line.
Yeah. I don't look at Eminem and think that Eminem is appropriate.
To tarnish whatever the legacy, love, or respect I've garnered.
People will tell you that. Look,
that face when typing.
What are these things doing?
No, Eminem. Say what you will. Does he have an advantage? Probably because he's white. Yes, but that is not him. That is the industry that he's in. That's what's up.
See, I used to think the same thing about Eminem, but it was like, getting put on game, being white is probably just as much as a struggle as keeping it up. Because every time you walk into a club and you try to rap or do all these battles in an entire black club, no one's gonna hear you out.
Man, I disagree.
When he was doing it, yes. What was that, 97, 98? That was prime, Biggie and Pac was still popping even though they were dead. And he was walking in these spots, it was just all these people, and in Detroit, walking in there and trying to do a black art in front of black people, where a spot where they don't have to be nice about what they say. They can say, fuck you, get off the stage, go to hell.
But the moment if you can stand long enough, and this is the thing with black people, they'll say, oh shit, he's hard, man. He's one of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It takes time to get there.
But once you're there, here's the other thing.
Oh yeah, once he gets
the
there,
business, you got an edge.
Yeah,
and that's been historically proven.
Dr. Dre knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, but I'm saying it takes the effort to get to that point. I think is probably a little bit more of a struggle than it would be if he was.
Yeah, but listen to me. It's not that I have anything against Eminem. Again, I'm not going to sit up here and blame him for that. That's where you get into. Okay, so what is the definition of cultural appropriation, and why do we need to understand this better? So we ain't out there pointing fingers at people like Bruno Mars,
of all people.
How did that happen? The definition that we see here, cultural appropriation, often framed as cultural misappropriation, is a concept in sociology dealing with the adoption of the elements of a minority culture by members of the dominant culture. It is distinguished from equal cultural exchange due to the presence of a colonial element and imbalance of power. What it means is that people who have some privilege are taking your shit and using it, exploiting it, and getting ahead over the people that created it. And then sometimes when they're done with it, balling it up and throwing it in the trash and then talking shit about it. We know who those vultures are out there picking them bones. We know the usual suspects in the usual lineup.
Did this for the art.
Now that the party is jumping.
You know, there's a guy that put 3 Negroes behind him dancing, and then got out there and told everybody that he's from the streets. Robbie Van Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Went out there and told everybody he was from the streets. Meanwhile, the guy's from the suburbs of Dallas, I think.
From like Fort Worth or something
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Even the video, you look at the background, you can see the skyline of Dallas.
That's his penthouse.
Yeah. with Vanilla Ice, we bring these people up because they showed people out there how there was appropriation in our faces, man. These people get out there. This is Robbie Van Winkle is not from the streets. He ain't hard.
No.
He ain't word to your mother. Yo, and all that bullshit. He ain't Yo MTV. He ain't none of that. And he tried to convince people hard that he was about to struggle.
The people who said I never could make it, that I would never amount to SHI, you know, the rest, and you know, that never, you know, said, you know, white boy can't make it in rap music. You know, kiss my white, you know, the rest.
No, here he is talking on a morning show, and let me make sure I give credit to what this morning show is. This is let me see here.
Wake Up Rapper.
The Dan Patrick Show. This is him talking about, man, you don't understand. No, back then black people loved me, but notice he ain't talking like Vanilla Ice. No, he's talking like Robbie Van Bullwinkle.
Listen, I was the opening act for the opening act for the opening act for the opener for the opener when we did the Stop the Violence tour with NWA, Stetsa Sonic, EP, and
notice it ain't yo, man. Them boys, they were down with me, man. You know, he ain't doing all that. He's talking like a skater now.
He's cashed his check.
Yeah. He's cashed his check and has been given so many times. He done rode his own dick for so long. He done recorded 50 versions of Ice Baby. He done recorded He's recorded the rock version of it, the metal version of it, the Tejano version of it, the Black Negro spiritual version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done the ballroom version of it. This guy has done that. Same shit today, man. And we see it happening right in front of us. You know, the biggest person that's getting called out on, who probably shouldn't even be able to go this far, is Iggy Azalea. I don't need to tell you more.
You want a bad bitch like this? Drop it low and pick it up just like this. Yeah, cup of Ace, cup of Goose, cup of Chris. I heal something worth a half a ticket on my wrist.
That's a light-skinned bitch from Atlanta right there.
Man, it's so jarring seeing her the first time because like they were bumping this in Atlanta before it even went wide. So I was like, all right, like this sounds like a pretty cool chick. I thought it was like somebody who was cool with Gangsta Boo, and then I saw, I was like, man, this is a joke. Like this isn't the real thing. Like they're just doing Clueless and there's some white girl rapping the verses. And like, no, that's really her. I was like, fuck you.
And yeah,
it's like the first time I saw Hootie and the Blowfish.
Appropriation. No.
This man's out here appropriating good country white music. Black people take everything. But you should have saw the head spin when people say, wait, but she's not even from America. She's from down under. Somebody said, all right, cut the bullshit. Drop the act. Let's hear how you would rap if you were really Iggy from Australia.
Hi guys, it's Iggy Azalea and I'm going to be rapping my hit single, Fancy. First things first, I'm the realist. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. And I'm still in the murder business.
Yeah, that fits. you know that is, even if she's kind of joking right here, it is that she ain't street. She ain't from the South.
No.
You know, she's not even from this country.
I'm not even sure she's from Australia unless she has a serious speech impediment.
Yeah. She sounds like an alien almost.
Yeah. You know what? This is regardless of where she's from. Look, I'm not saying she's an evil person or anything, but that is not who she is.
Phony.
She's taken it, and where you've had plenty of female black rappers, she's the one. I know we got Beyonce. She's the baddest chick in the game right now, but she ain't even really doing hip hop. You know, she's doing R&B, but nobody was calling some of these other black rappers, female rappers, to speak for Vogue or do makeup commercials, and
Right.
like they jumped on her to do this. It was she was able to take this, kind of be a novelty and use it as a platform. This is appropriation right here. Miley Cyrus, man. Fuck Miley Cyrus, because with Miley Cyrus, the whole twerking thing that she does right there. Miley Cyrus, she got, she got a little ass on her though. But Miley Cyrus,
she's not standing
up. Miley Cyrus, for what she's doing, it would be one thing to just take it and then also take the whole thing of I created the twerk. She never came out and tried to say, people, no, I took this from something. She always she soaked it up when people is like saying Miley Cyrus and the twerk. Like she invented this.
Well, Michael Jackson did the same thing with the moonwalk.
Did he? Oh, he didn't invent the moonwalk?
Hell no.
Fosse. Oh no, that breakdancing crew.
Yeah, it had been around for a while. Matter of fact, there's somebody else who taught him how to do it.
But what Michael Jackson did not do is Michael Jackson didn't do that and say, you know what, breakdancing and R&B and all kind of stuff, I hate it. That's trash. It's harmful.
No, he didn't do that.
Miley Cyrus did. Miley Cyrus came in and, she came in and says, hip hop culture, I can't stand it anymore. Insinuating that it was sexist. She comes in and she says, she gives some credit to Kendrick Lamar. I also love that new Kendrick Lamar song, Humble. Show me something like ass with some stretch marks. She said, I love it because it's not come sit on my dick, suck on my cock. I can't listen to that anymore. That's what pushed me out of the hip hop scene a little bit. It wasn't too much Lamborghini, got my Rolex, got my girl on my cock. I am not so that. Well, you were when you were sticking your ass out and put 3 black girls behind you to do it with you. And let's just say that, you actually rode hip hop culture for a while to gain a little notoriety.
Oh yeah.
And to break her Disney image.
And and don't get me wrong, like I'm saying, I'm not looking at everybody. I'll give some people the benefit of the doubt who are, you probably can weigh in on this. I'll give some people the benefit of the doubt who are under a lot of controversy right now, like your boy Post Malone out there.
Oh, the shit he said.
Yeah. And Post Malone, here's the thing with Post Malone. And who knows, man? He's not the first one to come in and dress crazy and get a bunch of tattoos and put on a bunch of crazy jewelry. And he's if you listen to him, maybe there's an argument to be made about him and hip hop.
My last hip hop album was fucking hip hop. My next hip hop album is fucking hip hop. I love hip hop. I make hip hop. I want to take this genre, and stretch it so far that people who may not listen to it, listen to it.
Okay, maybe he genuinely loves hip hop. There's but some people say, well, man, he's got all these tattoos and everything, and he's trying to look hard. And he grew up I think he's from Grapevine, Texas, or something like that.
Grapevine?
Grapevine, yeah.
Oh, that's like a rich part of Dallas.
Okay, yeah, his dad.
Those tats were expensive.
Yeah, man.
No. That's where the Walmart has a sushi bar in it.
What?
Yeah. No, I got friends who live out there. I go visit them during the holidays.
Okay.
Who's buying sushi at Walmart?
First of all, I never thought I would hear like Walmart sushi and then hear it's gourmet sushi. Yeah. I don't know, man. But the other thing is, even that can be a real argument because who else grew up in a pretty good household? Kanye West, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggie too.
He's like, don't talk about that.
Don't tell nobody.
Kanye grew up traveling the world. His mom was a professor. Like,
Yeah, so nobody can say anything about that. Really, you can't hold being from the streets or being hard or being in a struggle or being poor to somebody. But
that's the difference, though. Kanye came out and was never rapping about that. When College Dropout came out, he was wearing that little backpack with the pink polos.
Yeah,
and
he was backpack rap.
Yeah, so you're like, all right, I'm cool with this. It's like he's not trying to come out and sound hard, but Post Malone be saying some wild shit.
Post Malone trying to make everybody think he's from. And if y'all don't know Post Malone, and look him up. He's got that shit where he's trying to be like the scary black dude. He's got all these tattoos, crazy eyes. You catch him with gold in his mouth, trying to look like he came from some hard shit. And and that's what. First of all, that image. Again, it's debatable. That could be punk rock too. Whatever. We got.
I was getting a circus freak vibe.
Yeah, that too. I was kind of looking at it and getting like a post-apocalyptic road warrior vibe from this. Like he just finished eating a human being right now. But there's an article out there. First of all, what kind of image are you trying to put out there, and are you trying to put that image of like I'm hard from this certain part of the culture and how easy it is for you to do it and then walk away to something else, because that's where people jumped on him.
Yeah,
I want to do country music now. I used hip hop as as a you know, as a stepping stone. So you know, and a lot of people say, you know, when a person of color, particularly black people, try to do it, they you know, they get criticized. That is something that we kind of do to ourselves, though.
If people want to come in and get their money, it doesn't really hurt me, as long as like they're not just jacking the culture and leaving it worse off than what it was. I know there's been other artists that have come in and done black music or done, you know, different music that's not the same as their race, but they still come in and done stuff to where they seem genuine and authentic, so everybody just rolls with it and they give back to the community and the culture. But when people come in like Post Malone or Iggy Azalea or Miley Cyrus and just come in and say, I got my money, now I'm out, fuck you guys, your stuff is trash. It's like, yo, you weren't saying this when you was cashing $1 million checks. Like that's what gets me.
I think transparency and just being genuine with it. You can tell when someone's selling out. Like as soon as people saw Miley Cyrus doing it, it's like, this is a stunt.
Exactly.
And I'm not even familiar with Post Malone, but I can just tell by looking at him, like, this is definitely a stunt. This is a desperate cry for attention.
Are you sure, Patrick?
Notice me!
That's a good way to put it. It's a cry for attention.
Yeah, it really is. Like, look at you, dude.
Is that a candy necklace?
Rapping gets me hungry.
You know, but the reason why I'm going through all of this, I know it seems like we're going very detailed and deep, but the reason why is because there really is a need to understand cultural appropriation, because if we don't, it's going to hurt in several ways. One of the first ways that it hurts is that, you know, we don't start calling people out on appropriating things that belong to other people, especially people who are struggling with it on their own. Then that is something where we're going to have this cycle of people coming in, taking it, moving on with it, throwing it away, and then leaving somebody else to pick it up and repeat the cycle. Now, the problem with that is that what happens when that stuff is taken from us, we start to just discard it ourselves because we don't have any power over it anymore. We can't get it back too well because somebody else has really, at that point, gentrified it almost. And then we start to push it away too, because at that point, we got to start something new.
Yeah.
And the thing that, you know, whenever we try, and it's trained us to look at the news so much that we don't appreciate our own contributions. Unless, you know, the thing that we always create new, the thing that we always come out with is struggle music.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be, you know, hip hop, you know, we've seen it from hip hop to gospel to old Negro spirituals. You know, everything has to be about the struggle to remind us.
Blues.
Yeah, blues.
Yeah.
It's all struggle music. We start over, it's all struggle music to remind us of where we are. Never getting ahead in the music, but, you know, we always start off that struggle music, and then somebody else takes it and makes it successful. And that's not to say that all of it is struggle music. You know, hip hop was not always that. It is not always that. There's a lot of hip hop out there. I mean, you know, some of them. You want to talk about people coming from good backgrounds. You know, Will Smith gave us some of the most fun hip hop out there.
Yeah.
You know, Summertime right there. You know, and nobody held his background against him. And that boy came from a good household.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm only talking about when, you know, it's trained us to look at the things that we create. People take it and we can't get it back to the point where we look at it like, man, that shit's old. And we don't need it. You know, it makes us look at things like rock and roll and not appreciate it.
Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your head?
You know, nobody's ever been able to pass Jimi Hendrix as far as the steps he's made. You know, in guitar, electric guitar. You know, nobody's ever been the innovations that he's made in electric guitar. But you know, rock and roll goes way beyond that.
Yeah,
and we didn't get it back because we were shut out the business.
Yeah, but that's one thing I'm kind of happy about now, especially with the advance of technology. Is like you can put your own stuff out there and they see your face on it. Like back then, it was like, all right, I've heard of this guy Jimi Hendrix, but I haven't seen him until I go to this concert.
Yeah.
So it'd be easy for somebody else to jack your sound before you even knew it happened.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it done with jazz.
Yeah.
You know, jazz is something where I remember coming up in school. I like jazz, and I'll be on the bus and people say, man, when jazz come on that time of night, I cut that shit off.
Fuck you, Damien Chazelle.
But we have to realize the cycle.
Right.
The people who it gets taken from are the ones that are harmed the most.
Do you think hip-hop will ever get to that point?
I remember Mario Van Peebles said something back in the day, and I think at this point in time, it cannot. It's rooted too strong in that. But Mario Van Peebles said, man, he didn't make, you know, what was he saying? He was making a Western at the time. He's trying to remind people about Posse. Now, Posse was not a good movie.
Right.
But he did say, I think it's important to get the history out there that people see that how diversified history is. Because one day it's going to get to the point where you are going. It's not going to be jazz. It's not going to be westerns. You're going to get to the point where you open up a textbook or today a webpage, and they're going to tell you that the front runner and the creator of hip hop was. You know,
I mean, he's not.
You joke, but he's the first. I think he's the first hip hop artist to be nominated for a Grammy.
I thought it was Will Smith. I thought he won.
Okay.
Yeah, Will Smith was the first one to win.
One. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So yeah,
maybe he got an Oscar for Ninja Turtles.
Go Ninja.
I give it for that. Go Ninja. Go Ninja. Go. I like that shit.
You killed your argument.
He appropriated.
God damn it! Half-hour-long conversation. We're just not